Hey guys, Nick here. I'm going to go ahead and just state the obvious. This is a marketing tool for my real estate business. I've been a realtor for 20 years right here in Nashville, but who wants to listen to a boring podcast about real estate? Good news, it's not. This is a podcast about people that I've built relationships with since I moved here in 1988. If what I stand for resonates with you and you're looking to buy or sell a home in this area, let's talk. No pressure, just a conversation, kind of like this podcast.
This is the 615 Podcast with your host, veteran realtor and entrepreneur, Nick Woodard.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the 615 Podcast. Today's guest is a very well-known publicist. She's been in Forbes magazine, Entrepreneur magazine, recipient of the Businesswoman of the Year Award, keynote speaker in National Association of Women's Business Owners. She has a client roster from NFL, NBA, WWE, band speakers, actors, authors, charities, you name it. Welcome to the podcast, Miss Cathy Cardenas.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, friend. How
what
are
an
you?
intro. I feel like I sound cool. Like
You do.
from your
You're
intro.
very cool. Very, very cool. So
Thanks.
let's start with this. So what exactly does a publicist do? Because most people probably think they know, but have no clue.
Yeah.
I mean, are you constantly just putting out fires?
I'm still trying to figure out what I do too. Because
Okay.
I know what a publicist is supposed to do, but then you end up wearing about 85 different hats because it's kind of sometimes you just got to do whatever the clients need.
Mm-hmm.
So a publicist kind of handles a client's image, their branding, gets them exposure. You know, not every client is an A-list where they just have my phone would be blowing up all day. Like sometimes it has to be the opposite. I have to pitch clients. So,
Of course.
So I'm kind of just keeping them top of the mind awareness, creating opportunities for them, brand opportunities, marketing opportunities, magazine covers, TV interviews. Whenever they have like a new book out, I'll do promoting. If they've got a new film out, I'll do the PR and promoting behind that. So just really depending on the project.
Okay. Well, we'll get into all that. I've got some questions that I think are going to be very, very interesting. But let's start from your background. Tell us a little bit about your background, where you're from, what your childhood was like, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's okay. So pretty much born and raised in Idaho, Nampa, Idaho, right outside of Boise.
Okay.
Yeah. So sometimes people are like, oh, you're the only person I've ever met from Idaho. So it's a little small town. But yeah, it's obviously grown a lot now. Idaho's grown a lot since what it used to be for sure. Just there. I'm the youngest of 7 children and raised by an awesome single mama.
Okay.
So basically just raised there and grew up there. And then my background, I moved into television and radio. So that's kind of where the media area started for me. My goal was I wanted to be Lisa Gibbons on Entertainment Tonight.
Okay.
Like that was my dream. I even got to do an internship there in high school. I was like so excited. But life changes, takes you on a different route. So I didn't get to be her, but I've yet to still meet her. I don't think I've ever met her actually.
Maybe it's one of those you don't want to meet her.
Yeah,
you
right?
You kind of got someone in your head like this is how they are, and you don't want to meet them because it'll change.
Yeah, true. Good point. So. Yeah, so that's kind of where that started.
Okay.
So,
Well, how did you transition from, you said radio and all, how did you get into the PR business of owning your own business, finding clients? Like, how does that whole situation start?
Yeah, so it's interesting. And I just shared this recently on another podcast, this story. So my background was radio and television. And then from that point, I kind of leaped into a small area of like real estate. So I had a real estate related business that did super well during the housing crisis. Like I felt like I was the only person making money during that. And so I had been doing PR for that company and I had gotten a lot of PR, like even Good Morning America. That's where I got the entrepreneur article.
Okay.
And so anyway, from there, I sold that business. I sold off all those markets and I took some time off and didn't know what I wanted to do. At this time, I had been doing PR just for friends, just, different, their little golf tournaments or charity events or whatever, just doing a little PR. And one day a friend of mine just reached out. He's an entertainment attorney and knew that I had done some PR. And he's like, hey, I'm bringing this group to town. And he's like, I want to know if you'll help me do the PR for it. And I'm like, well, who's the group? And he's like, it's Lucha Libre. And I'm like, what's a Lucha
Libre? Isn't that the wrestling?
Yeah. I know. Here I'm Mexican and I didn't even know what to realize what that was. Yeah. And
that's a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah. They're big. And so I was like, okay, I don't know anything about these guys. I've only seen like parts because my kids of Nacho Libre or whatever. So I was like, sure. Libre. Yeah. Right. So I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And well, I ended up doing such a good job that it ended up being one of their highest paid, highest attended events ever in history of Lucha Libre. And so they were so impressed that they were like, we want to hire you. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to work for anyone. And they're like, well, if you start a PR firm, we'll be your first client. And almost 16 years now later, I have been nearly 100% referral from day one.
That's fantastic.
All my clients are referral. Yeah.
Well, that kind of bled into my next question. I was going to ask, looking back, what was the first big client that made you think, okay, this is really happening? This could be something.
Oh, probably Hulk Hogan's group. When I got that one, that was big.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That was really big. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, see, I think for me, mine was Rodney Atkins. My wife used to manage him, and he was my first $1 million transaction. But what I learned most importantly from that deal was how to deal with the things that never happened, but actually did happen.
Yeah.
So, like, putting out fires, dealing with major situations. The day he closed on his home in Brentwood, it had that internal sprinkler system in it, and because it was way up on a hill, and it was the builder's house, and he wasn't there all the time, so he cut the internal sprinkler system off when he wasn't there. And so the day of closing, he sent his, one of his project managers to the house, and he was like, hey, go turn the sprinkler system back on. Well, he didn't bleed the line. He just cranked it right back on. And I left closing, went home because I wasn't feeling very well, and laid down in bed, and I got a call from Rodney. He was like, hey, bro, the ceiling caved in. I was like, don't mess with me. I'm not feeling well, bro. Like,
no.
And he goes, no, seriously. And long story short, when he cranked that sprinkler system on, it popped one of the heads in the ceiling.
Oh.
And water filled up over the foyer up on the drywall. And when it had enough weight, it caved down and destroyed $20,000 worth of hardwood floor.
Oh, no. That's terrible.
So it was one of those that, again, I learned how to deal with the situations that never happen.
Yeah.
But when they do, by God, you got to learn how to deal with it.
And with your first big one, too.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, oh, my God.
Out of all the people it had to happen to.
How does this happen? So
yeah. Oh, he's great. I like him. Yeah, that's a great one.
So what's a big difference between representing an athlete, an actor, musician, or brand? I mean, is there something each one of them that is different, or do you kind of have a formula for how you do things?
Yeah, I would say there's probably a formula, but I just have a system for each person. I mean, each person's going to be different just based on what their needs are, what they're wanting. I have some clients that I'm like, they retain me, but they don't really like to do a lot of stuff. So I'm like, okay, that's great. That's easy. And then I have some that call me 45 times a day. And it's like, okay, we got to find you some help here. Yeah. So it just,
you
it
need
really
another
depends.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I need about 50 of me. Some weeks I'm like, it's a lot. So yeah, it just really depends. I mean, it depends, the difference is like like an athlete or an actor. Sometimes I have clients that are just on retainer all year long, all the time. And then I have some that just say, hey, I'm promoting a new book, or I'm promoting a new movie, or I've got a new clothing line that's out. And so we just do shorter term campaigns where we're just doing the short term.
Yeah.
And then some people, I have an athlete that's just like, I just want you to handle my charity work, right? Like, I don't care about the rest of the stuff. I've got a team that handles that. Like, I just want you handling all my charity, or I want you to, whatever. So it varies. Each person kind of varies on what I do for them and how that looks.
So have you kind of learned over your career, and this is just me speaking from my experience, when I start working with someone who's well-known, famous, or just well-known in the community, I've learned I have to treat them a little bit differently, because I treat them like their time is extremely valuable.
Mm-hmm.
So I do a lot of like cut through the fluff, get to work quickly, make quick decisions because they're so busy that, cutting down the time it takes to do something is very valuable.
Yeah.
And then I also learned that people that are highly successful people always have people working underneath them.
Mm-hmm.
So I've learned, hey, I've got to make great relationships with those people.
Yeah.
Whether it be a business manager, accountant, whatever, it's their job to protect their client. So I'll be honest, I feel like I get not judged, but more eyes are on me from their people than them.
Yeah.
Because that's their job to make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
So do you ever have to deal with the people's people?
I think my clients actually prefer just to deal with me directly. Like I really
great.
just call them directly. We text directly. I think that I've had in the past where it's almost been a problem. If I put an assistant on it or someone from my team, they don't like that so much.
Yeah.
So I feel like for me, I think they like dealing with me directly, but I'm not somebody that I call them 20 times a day or,
Sure.
we reach out when we need to, or if we're in the middle of a project that has a lot of moving parts. But yeah, I think for me, they actually prefer to just deal direct, just me and the client. There's not usually, I don't have to do too much with their teams very often.
That's good.
Yeah. Which is nice.
And you're like me. It's just relationship people. Like I want to be friends with every one of my clients, and my clients become family almost instantly.
That's me too.
But I have, learned over the years that you have to have relationships with their people too.
Mm-hmm.
You have to earn their trust.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So.
For sure. I think that's a lot of it. I think that's what separates me a little bit from other publicists is that I'm not, I'm being a boutique agency, I think works to my advantage because I don't think people want a big machine anymore. They want more personal service. They want me to remember their wife's birthday. You know what I mean? If their wife's sick, I send food over and things like that. Like those are the things that are important to them where it feels like family. So I think that makes a huge difference because those big agencies, you don't get that. They don't get the love and the attention. Just because you're a big name doesn't mean you're still the number one guy out there in the league or wherever. And so it makes having a boutique firm that can give them that makes a huge difference.
Yeah. So what's something that, let's say, the public completely misunderstands about celebrities?
I think that they're human. Like I think that, they have to put up a front a lot of times. And I've had this happen in the past. With like even some of my WWE girls or even some of my athletes, like people are mean online. I would never want to be famous.
Brutal.
I do not have thick enough skin.
Brutal.
And sometimes I've had to be like, just stay off the internet. I just have another client that went through that. It's just like, don't read comments.
Don't read the comments.
Just don't. And it's like, people are so
half
mean
of them are probably
and
bots
vicious.
anyway.
Yeah. And some are just vicious. And I'm like, just don't, like, you're great. These are just jealous, miserable people. And it's like I think that it's like, it's like if they gain a little bit of weight, that's hard for them already. You know what I mean? The internet doesn't need to remind them. It's little things like that. So I think just that they're human. They're not perfect. I think that perfection comes with that too. And that's really hard. So when they make a mistake or fail or have, and I've had clients where we've had big things. Yeah. I mean, my mom taught me a long time ago. She's like, don't ever put yourself up so high because when you fall, the fall's a lot worse when you're up that high. She's like, keep yourself humble. But yeah, people make mistakes. I mean, I would never want all my mistakes all over the internet. You know what I mean? And these guys have to have that all the time. And I just think it's just a reminder to show people grace,
Well, I think I've told bits of this story on the podcast before, but so to go back to that question, what's something the public completely misunderstands about celebrities? So my sister was married to Barry Bonds' little brother, Bobby Jr. And so, you hear all this stuff about Barry's such a jerk and, not a likable guy. And I was like, every time I've ever been around him, he's been great. Yeah. But like I've also been in the public with him, and it's like the guy can't have a second alone. It's like everybody always wants something from him.
Yeah,
it's you can't even go to dinner with your family because everybody's wanting pictures, everybody's wanting autographs, and you can just kind of see that build up to where they get aggravated with it.
Yeah,
like they want to live a normal life, and sometimes a situation unfolds because you've pushed them to to the edge and they can't handle it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've seen that a lot with like Donovan McNabb, for example. That's something I think when we're out and about, we run into. And he tries to be nice to everyone, and he, it's just, but sometimes we're in a hurry, you know what I mean? And he comes off maybe abrupt, but it's not, and maybe I come off abrupt for people. I'm like, no. And it's like,
and
people,
that one interaction will be what's stuck in someone's
what
head
sticks
forever.
in someone's head. Yeah. And then people want him to sign stuff all the time. And he's like, no, that's value to him. Like that. He makes a lot of money off signings. And so he can't just, I mean, sometimes they'll send their kid up to go to, because he won't say no to a kid. He's such a nice guy. He's such a family guy, especially about kids. And so, but I think they do that on purpose, because they're like, yeah, he'll say no to me, but he won't say no to my 7-year-old that doesn't even know who Donovan is, So I see that too. And I think it is kind of frustrating. Like it's okay for a moment, but places like, and sometimes you're in a setting where that's expected when we go to Super Bowl week or something, but it's like when you're just out at a golf thing, or you're just trying to, it can be frustrating.
I will say how cool would that be if like your signature could just pay for your meal?
Yeah.
You're just like, hey, we're going to have a steak dinner, and like, here, I'll sign that.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, we're good. That is
right?
some power.
Exactly. There's value in that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the next question was going to be, have you ever worked with someone incredibly famous but surprisingly very normal?
Yes. Yeah, there have been a couple. Maybe like a couple of like the WWE stars, and that they're big in their own, in that space.
Yeah.
But they're just so laid back, so easygoing. I feel like most of my clients are that way. I've been in a place now where I pick and choose who I want to take. Yeah. And if someone's going to make me miserable, I just don't take them. It's not worth it. Yeah. It's just not worth it to me. Or if I start with them and I start to see that they're a pain, I make sure it does not last very long, because I just don't want to put up with that. Yeah. It's like, I'm too old.
Well, have you ever got that phone call in the middle of the night that headlines are not going to be fun the next morning?
Yeah. Yeah, I had an NBA player one time, and it was in the middle of the night, but it was, I had just, and this, I never take vacations because I'm probably a workaholic, but when I take vacation, that's when everything seems to go wrong.
Of course.
So I take vacation. So I
didn't
have
my
phone
estate,
on.
Like if things are slow, go on vacation.
Yeah. So I'm like getting this. I finally turn my phone back on. I'm driving. All of a sudden, my phone just starts blowing up because everything starts coming in. They're like, "What are the charges? What are the?" Oh. And I'm like, "What charge? What's happening?" I had no idea because the phone was off, and it was So I've had that happen. But again, I try to pick clients that aren't a lot of problems, because I don't know if someone else can have that.
What would you say? I know you can't put percentages on it, but what percentage of what we see online and in the media is strategic and planned? Because I've always wondered that. There's a lot of this stuff, with what you do in the PR space. Yeah. How much of it are you thinking ahead and kind of putting pieces on the chessboard?
I'm one of the best at that. I overthink, I think ahead, because I already know the media. I mean, I tell people this, I spin the media for a living. I know how easy it is. They don't even fact check. Like I can literally just put whatever out there, just like they do. So I just know, and the problem is though, sometimes clients do it to themselves. I tell them, do not say this. Do not bring this up. What do? They bring it up. And what is our headline? Exactly what I told you not to say. And so it's happened so many times. And so sometimes it's like, I can only help you so much. If you're not going to be quiet, then I can't, I can't help you.
Well, so I was friends with a guy years ago. He was an NFL agent. His name was Bill Johnson. And Bill, if you hear this, call your boy, man. I miss you, buddy. But we were on a flight one day coming back from CMA or something like that. And I asked him, this was around the NFL draft. And I was like, how do you guys deal as agents with the insanity of the draft week? You have, rumors of trades and, someone's sliding down the ranks and all this. And how do you deal with that chaos? And he goes, bro, we create that chaos.
Yeah.
Like we do stuff in order to create some sort of leg up for our client. And that just blew my mind. I was like, wow.
Yeah. And there are publicists that do that kind of stuff too. But luckily, again, I don't have a client that I have to do the dirty kind of stuff for. I don't have to, get the, there have been times where we joked, we're like, well, maybe do something to, you know what I mean? For some people forget about that problem and just do something outrageous. But I say that jokingly. I never want, we fix what we need to and move on. I think one of the things I'll just mention is I think that the problem with clients are the same with just being people. Like they're really hard on themselves. Like I really have seen clients over the years make a mistake and they just beat themselves up. And I'm like, trust me, I've been doing this a long time. This is not the worst thing in the world. You have not done, you will come back from this. You will come back. Yeah.
So kind of like getting into the branding space, because that's something I've really focused on in the past few years is, every person in business has a brand. And are you more, for your clients, are you the kind of, hey, let's really crush your branding, but be very careful not to overstep? Like the main question I want to ask is politics. Like, should people lean into it, or is that something you don't talk about?
No, I think that, I just sometimes just don't think, it just depends on who the client is. Some people just flat out will not talk about it, and then some want to talk about it. I had one client, I can't say, but we were doing an event in Texas. And he was like, I don't like that host. In fact, I don't want any Republicans at my event. I'm like, we're in Texas. Like, there won't be anyone at our event. Like, we can't. But it was just like, some people are just so extreme about it. And I get it. And I get people are passionate, but it was just funny. So I'm just, we just avoid it because I think that they've got people on both sides. And to most of the clients, I think that their fans are their life support. That's their lifeline. Like they don't want to ever
alienate one side and all that.
Yeah. So
but
most
I do
of them
think it's okay to like, show a part of you that, like when people see my stuff, they know what they're getting. I don't really openly talk about it. Yeah. But I think it's been beneficial to me to kind of lean into who I really am and not really straddle both sides of the fence.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you're right. And some of them do, and it's okay. And some of them are like, I'm going to say what I'm going to say and not care. Yeah. But I think most of them just try to keep everyone kind of happy. So to me, whatever they want to go with, I'm totally fine with. I may have some people that are like, I absolutely will not be on Fox News. Absolutely will not. And then I have people that are like, I will absolutely not be on CNN. I'm like, okay, good thing there's other media outlets, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like we were going to bring this up later, but you recently started working with Sean Ryan a little bit. Yeah. And that's what I think everybody really loves about him. He's like, I'll talk to anybody about anything. Yeah. Yeah. And he's kind of been pigeonholed as, he's right wing or he's not. Yeah, no. Like he's very middle of the road, common sense. But I think that's what's made him so successful is like, I'm willing to talk to anybody on either side. Yeah. Because conversation is what's going to help and fix things.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. And that's what, I ran into a situation yesterday with somebody who was just complaining about how Christian people are so judgmental to him. And anyway, and he's telling me this a few weeks ago. And then I presented an opportunity to him yesterday and he was like, oh yeah, no, this organization will not want somebody conservative. And I'm like, but that person had, and I don't want to say without saying it, but I was just like, I'm like, that's just as wrong to me. You know what I mean? This event shouldn't be about race, religion, politics. It should be about the individual. This person had this issue too. And so they should be, and people want to get all crazy about it. And I'm like, that's not how I think that's just, there's so much division in our world, which sometimes I just worry that it can never be fixed. There's just division on things we never thought there would be division. So
I think that everything's cyclical though. Like, I think people will have enough of it and then something will happen and we'll get on to the next thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, it's good. It's good to have people that are willing to speak up and say what they have and not care what others think. I think it's amazing. He does that.
What mistakes do business owners make when trying to build their public image?
Oh, that's like, I think in marketing. So the newest part of my business that I have launched officially now is my consulting business, because a lot of people come to me and I have to look at their stuff and I'm like, yeah, they're like, I want to do PR. I'm like, no, You're not ready. You're not even close to ready. Here's a long list of problems. Go fix them. And then call me in 6 months, right? And it's great because they'll go fix them. But then I was like, wait a minute. Especially if I'm going to do their PR, I kind of want to control some of this.
Yeah.
So I launched the consulting side of my business because a lot of people will come to me, and you'd be surprised. I mean, I had 2 big CEOs right now that I'm consulting with on their brands, and they have big companies, but they can't, when it comes to their personal brand, they can't figure it out. And they'll just throw something up, and the websites were like, this is your, this website's like from 1995. Like, we have to fix this. Like, you can't. So that's one thing I think that they don't understand is
I think they can just jump right in and go, hey,
well,
Kathy,
I have this other
fix
business and
this.
people will,
Yeah.
So now I'm like, okay, so instead of saying, here's a list, now I'm like, okay, here's what we're going to do for consulting. This is where we need to start. We need to start with this. I think, you got a new book out. Great. You've got this new mission. Let's get a podcast. Let's get a website. I mean, I have one guy, he's like worth a ton, and he literally had this terrible website. Didn't even have a logo. I'm like, why do you not have a logo? We need to get a logo. It's just little things they don't think about. And so, now I'll be getting ready to actually post some before and afters of both their brands and websites. And it's going to be shocking to see what people see. And I was like, this is what they were trying to market out there. And I'm like, and I think that sets me apart from other publicists too, because I won't just take someone's money. I'll be like, no, you're not ready. And that's why they have signed with me, those 2 specific CEOs, because I was honest. And I'm like, I'm not going to take your money because you need to work on stuff first. And then we can do PR, because I can't.
That's how you build trust.
This. Exactly. And that
and a name in the
difference.
business and
but a lot of
honesty and
publicists
integrity.
don't care. They're just like, we'll take your money and sure, well, and it's like, then you get them 2 things and then they get mad because you took all their money and they don't get anything.
Like I've talked people out of deals many times.
Yeah.
Like fall in love with a house. I'm like, don't buy this house.
Yeah.
Like, trust me on this.
Yeah. Yeah.
One reason, another location, something's, whatever it is. I've talked many people out of deals, and I think that just gains trust.
Yeah. Oh no, I think they really appreciate that.
I've got a client that called me last week, been a longtime client, longtime friend. She brought this up, and I'll never forget. She was a single girl at the time. She was looking at townhouses in the Brentwood kind of Cane Ridge area, and she really liked this condo. And I told her, I was like, I really want you to have a garage that you can pull into to get out to get into the house.
Yeah.
And she was like, why? I said, well, you're an attractive young single girl. I would feel more comfortable if you could get in the home without having to walk around.
Yeah.
And that was 15 years ago. And she brought it up last week. She was like, do you know what that meant to me, that you were forward thinking like that?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. So, there's definitely not enough in business nowadays.
So what do you think is more important, talent or likability?
Oh, likability.
Likability.
I'm a big, I speak on that a lot.
I was about to say, if I had to choose, I would say likability and integrity.
Because somebody can be a big star, but if they're a jerk, just people, and I've had that just happen with just recently. I was doing somebody's press, and I pitched, be careful how I say this. I pitched this person, and this producer in LA that I work with all the time, he was like, he texts back and he was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to have that person on. And I said, haha, whatever. I thought he was being funny. He goes, no, I'm serious. The person is so rude and awful when they come in here. We don't want, you can book them with someone else, but I'm not doing it. And I was like, okay. And I've run into a lot of problems with that person because of that. There's no likability.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll say I've stuck it out with people much longer because I like them.
Yeah.
It may be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But I'm sticking with them because I really, really like them.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You're so likable, Jim.
We can't get rid of Jim.
Yeah. Right? You might replace him with somebody mean, and then you'll really be, yeah.
I had a couple here on. Couple more questions I want to ask you. So your success relies on the success of others, 100%.
Oh, absolutely.
So, that's got to be stressful. You have to keep people from sabotaging themselves as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, how does that play into your mental health space to where you're just like, okay, guys, my job is to keep you from ruining yourself?
Yeah.
That's got to be extremely difficult.
Yeah. And so, like I said, most of the time they're pretty well behaved, but there are some people where I'm like, they just, They do what they do. But I won't say which ones, but there's a couple.
There's
a
so
couple
many that you wanted to say that
but there's a couple that were just like, they do, but I think that they start to, one thing I do have to say about my clients that I do feel like they, in fact, somebody said something yesterday and they were like, oh yeah, they were saying these and this and this. I'm like, oh yeah, those were my talking points. Like they start to listen. And once they listen, I think what they do is they'll say something that screws them up. And then they're finally like, okay, now we're going to listen to you. Yeah. And so that's when it gets great. When they finally listen, it's like, I'm not telling you, I'm not trying to boss you. I'm not trying, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, even though I feel like their mom sometimes, but it's like, I am trying to help you and we don't want a mess. We're trying to do all this great press to get rid of a mess, you know? So the
reason I ask is years ago, my wife Catherine used to work under Doc McGee, who's a music artist as a music manager for like Kiss and Hootie and Bon Jovi, but he also had Motley Crue. And I could not imagine the PR nightmare of trying to manage Motley Crue.
Yeah.
I mean, heroin overdoses, destroying hotels. Like, how in the world could you tackle that? Yeah.
No, I say those guys, go to the big agency. Let them have you. They got a team for that. Me, I'm like, I don't want the 2 a.m. calls.
I mean, you seem to surround yourself with pretty normal people that don't really put you in the space to have a headache.
Yeah, if I can see that, but the one where I was saying I got off the flight and was getting all the texts about the chart, so I would have never pegged that one, that guy, and it ended up just being something dumb, but it was just like, so you just never know who might be the one to have something happen. So you got to be ready. But if I know that they have a lot of things in the past, then I don't know that I always want it. But I did take one person that had a lot of things in the past and have done an incredible job fixing that.
Good.
And burying all that.
It's
like, I'm really
cool
good at
to
burying
see,
stuff.
see the growth in that, the maturity.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, you going to help me get Sean Ryan on the 615 podcast?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a Middle Tennessee resident, and maybe we can help get his viewership up.
Yeah, right? I know. He's so good at what he does. He should do it for a living. Yeah.
He really needs to be on more podcasts.
Yeah,
so I'll just put that out there.
All right, final question. Ask every guest this.
Okay.
What do you love most about living in Middle Tennessee?
I call it God's country. It's so green and beautiful.
Country.
It's so green and beautiful. It is, I came from Arizona, and it is not green and beautiful there.
Yeah.
And the greenness and the beautiful, wonderful people. Like, I don't say that about a lot of cities, but
we pretty much get that answer every time.
Yeah. I'll never leave these green trees.
Good.
Sure.
We're glad to have you, friend.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. I know you're a very, very busy woman. You've always been so good to me, and you're definitely becoming a good friend. So.
No, I appreciate it. Same with you. And you too, Jim. So yeah. No, I know I'm going to have to come back and do more stuff in here. You guys are fun to hang out with.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next week.